Hi and welcome. And today I'm going to be talking about the transits for July on the Irish national chart. Now, this is a time of July is a month of profound transformation and cultural dissolution and regeneration. And this is for the whole world, but in particular, this affects the Irish chart fundamentally because we have two outer planets sitting on fundamental points in the Irish chart. These are called cardinal points, and they are points of ending and new beginning. Now, first of all, we have Neptune here sitting on the IC. Now, Neptune is Lord of the Deep, he's Lord of the Ocean, and whenever he comes along, he dissolves whatever he touches. And here, sitting on the IC of the Irish chart, he is dissolving, he's sitting on what is basically the roots of the chart, the homeland. This is literally your home, your property, the land itself, but it's also the tribal culture, it's the roots of the people. And Neptune is dissolving these roots. He's washing them away, barely perceptible, wave by wave. Neptune doesn't have any boundaries. He doesn't have any borders. So, like the tides, he's washing away the foundations of the state. On a very practical level, this can be the housing crisis. Neptune is really idealistic. He covers the illusions, he covers fog, he covers sleight of hand. So there could be people offering solutions to the housing crisis that are completely impractical and that would never ever work. So that's kind of the lower level of Neptune. The higher level of Neptune is, well, spiritual divine connection. He is those rose-colored glasses, so he can be sort of dreamy and idealizing the cultural roots. But at his highest, he really represents the understanding that we are all one, that we are all spiritually connected, that we can all receive divine guidance. So this could really represent a strong revival of the ancient cultural heritage, particularly connected with the land, connecting with the land in terms of all the clairaudience, clairsentience, actually listening to the land, extrasensory perception. I mean, this makes me think of the Tuatha De Danann, the fairies, the Tuatha De Danann who were meant to return at times of need, bringing hope and light. Now, this is a long, slow process. It goes on until 2028, but really July 2026 is like the first round, and it's really, really intense because it is the first coming together of these four major players all in aspect together. Now, working alongside Neptune as well is Saturn. Now, where Neptune is boundaryless, Saturn is lord of boundaries and structure. He rules authority figures. He's also wisdom through time and karma. So in terms of politics and the media, he's going to try and bring in his own authority. Now, fascinatingly, when we had the fuel protests in the beginning of April, we had Saturn sitting right on the IC of the chart. And there's talk of fuel protests again in July, but this time we're going to have Neptune sitting in there. So this indicates there might be something, I think maybe something underhand, some undermining of, again, undermining of the people, undermining of the old structure coming in. But it could be done through illusion and confusion. Let's keep the fog going, don't want people to really see what's going on. In April, with Saturn sitting on the IC, we had an authoritarian response. But this time in July, we're in a different position. The authority figure is sitting in the house of the land of the people, and he is in trine to Pluto. So I think there will be an attempt at power over, but I think the people will be taking their power. And I think that Saturn, karma, Saturn, Lord of Wisdom, he's also opposite to Neptune. So Neptune up here in the 10th house, he's all about those, dreamy foreign relations and how wonderful and spiritual Ireland is, and, how you know, the dreamy Celtic mist with the standing stones in it. Well, Saturn's going, no, hey, you're going to see the reality this time. You're going to be wise. You're going to see through the illusion. Now, equally, we have, working in tandem with Neptune, we have Uranus this month coming in to sit on the descendant, another cardinal point of endings and new beginnings. And it's interesting, this is the horizon in the chart. Everything below the horizon here is unseen. It's unconscious, it's hidden. Whereas as soon as a planet goes above the horizon, it becomes very seen. Now, Uranus actually doesn't go above the horizon until the beginning of August, but really we're going to be feeling his impact because he comes in like a bolt of lightning out of the blue. Uranus is the great awakener. He's the revolutionary. He's the disruptor. So where Neptune down here is dissolving the boundaries and the foundations, up here Uranus is coming on and he's saying, wake up guys, you've got to see the truth. And he comes in with like a bolt of lightning out of the blue, and he wants freedom. He wants lightning fast change, and he is in the sign of Gemini. So this is all about communication. Now, in the first week in July, we have Mars as well coming in, and Mars Uranus is an extremely explosive combination. So I imagine the first week in July is going to bring some pretty explosive news about alliances, partnerships. This is the seventh house of, it's like the house of marriage in a traditional chart. So this is all about alliances. It's about our relationship with the EU. It's about our relationship with, you know, again, this is all about borders, boundaries, and I think new alliances are going to be forged, but whether they are appreciated by the people, whether they bring in freedom or restriction, I think there's going to be some quite explosive energy coming in there. So unexpected shifts in treaties, trade deals, anything that feels restrictive is going to be challenged, particularly by with that Mars there. So it's going to be like there's an electric current running through these public relations in that first week. Lightning shifts towards, you know, there's going to be the energetic, as Uranus goes above the horizon there's going to be a lightning shift towards freedom, innovation. This can also be technology. Uranus represents technology, the unconventional, the unexpected, and old ties can suddenly change. But again, this is really, really destabilizing, similar to Neptune on the IC there. And the seventh house is also the house of open enemies. So where it looked like everyone was harmonious and in partnership previously, there can be sudden shocking changes around that. And this is, Uranus is coming in with that lightning bolt suddenly, so we can see things in a whole new light. He's like the sheet lightning on a dark night. Suddenly we see through the illusions. And then we have Lord Pluto down here in the third house. Lord Pluto covers the underworld, everything that has been hidden and unseen. He's all about power and control. And wherever he goes, he invites us to look very deeply into the underworld of what have been hidden, to bring up all the dirty washing to be cleaned. Now, really, he's Lord of transformation and empowerment. And in the third house here, he's all about communication. Again, he very much relates to the media. And being Lord of power and control, there could be sort of new laws coming in to try and control communication. This could be internet censorship, it could be propaganda, it could be misinformation, it could be conspiring to sort of limit the power of the media. But Pluto's actually in Aquarius. This is the sign of the people. So the people are taking their power in terms of communication, in terms of the internet, in terms of blogging, and in terms of actually digging deep and speaking the truth. Now, what he's really doing there is he is empowering the people, because the third house, as well as being the house of communication, it's also the house of neighborhoods and communities. And Aquarius is the sign of community, so that kind of doubles up in terms of the empowering of the community voice, and the empowering of the people. Like Pluto doesn't do shallow. He's going to dive really, really deep and find the truth. And as we all know, anything that is repressed shouts to come up. Well, Pluto's going to empower that. He's going to really help grassroots movements to find out the truth around misinformation, information. It could bring up a lot of the growth of independent media even further than we have already. So Pluto is really working in harmony with Neptune and Uranus here to reveal the truth, to empower the people. Now, fascinatingly, Uranus in Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini. Mercury's all about communication, local travel, media. And Pluto here in the third house is also, the third house is like Gemini, also ruled by Mercury. And for most of July, Mercury is in retrograde. Now, Mercury is up here in Cancer. Now, at the beginning of July, Mercury is still stationary, and he's turning backwards. He's going to retrograde, and when Mercury retrogrades, it gives us a time to rethink, reevaluate, reassess, and hopefully get a bit of rest. Doesn't always happen, but Mercury says, hang about, there's something you're not seeing here. You need to have a bit of a rethink, guys. And it's all about, Mercury is in Cancer, the sign of the home, the family, and the foundations. So he's demanding that we need more information. We need to see things more clearly around what's going on in the homeland. So he's in the eighth house of, well, this is the people who we trust. This is ruled by Pluto. So again, there's that Mercury-Pluto connection. We're going to have to really dig deep and find out the truth during this Mercury retrograde. Now, when he stops stationary at the beginning of July, he is in challenging square to the nodes in the natal chart. Now, the nodes in evolutionary astrology, they're like the most important point. The south node it's always angled slightly negatively, and it's those karmic habits that no longer serve us. So natally in the chart, it's in Libra, so that's all about sort of plumosing people and believing, it's that covering over the truth. Oh, well, it smells nice and it looks nice, so it looks beautiful, so it must be good. And it's in the 11th house, which is kind of ruled by Aquarius, but in the negative aspect, it's all about believing what we're told by, the masses believe this, therefore that must be true. So this is what we're letting go of. We've got this karmic moment where we either fall into those old belief systems where we're told what to think and yes sir, no sir, and of course I believe you, or we're stepping into the North Node in the chart. Now this is in Aries. This is the sign of the warrior. This is about being a fiery leader. It's about being an individual. It's about being the king. It's in the house of Leo. So this is about new leaders. I wonder, will new leaders emerge during this time to speak the truth, to uncover the truth? So it's really a moment of karmic choice as to what we believe. Are we going to step into our own sovereignty, or are we going to believe what we are told? And Mercury retrogrades until he goes direct there on Thursday the 23rd of July. Now what is fascinating is that Jupiter, Lord of Expansion, comes into Leo, and as he does so, first of all, he opposes, this is right at the beginning of July, he opposes the Jupiter in the chart. Jupiter is all about what we believe. So there's going to be this real push and pull again about what we believe. Do we believe the leaders, what the leaders are telling us, or do we believe what the people are telling us? It's in the third house of communication. So again, it's all about communication. Now, as Jupiter goes on, he moves to oppose Pluto. Now, this is incredibly powerful. Jupiter expands everything he touches, and Pluto, of course, Lord of the Underworld, is bringing up all the dirt, all the hidden stuff around communication. So during the week that Mercury actually stops and goes direct, as Mercury goes retrograde, we get more and more information, and we're not going to know the truth. We're not going to go what's really going on until Mercury, we're not going to have all that information until Mercury goes direct. Well, this is on the 23rd. During the week of the 23rd, Jupiter actually comes to oppose Pluto. So it's like during that final week from the 19th to the 25th, there's going to be tons of new information coming in about what is really going on, about any form of hidden manipulation of the media, of journalism, of I'm going to call it underhanded manipulation tactics that may have been used against the people. Well, Jupiter's just going to expand our ability to see through the illusion, to see through the dirt, and to see what the actual truth is. So this is quite a fascinating month for transformation, both within the Irish chart and also within the world. This is a huge movement of transformation which is going on until 2028-29, when these three outer planets finally move apart. But really, July is the beginning of that moment, bringing it to an initial crescendo which continues in waves over the next 3 years. This is the revolutionizing of the people, the power, and also seeing through the illusion and actually connecting with our divine heritage. So this is an incredible time of transformation that we're going through and for Ireland it is incredibly personal and incredibly profound. So thank you for listening. Thank you for getting this far. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing, and take good care of yourself during this amazing revolutionary month.